Should you send your child to art classes or art school? So the short answer is no. But the real answer is more complicated than that. So first of all, let's differentiate between art classes and art school and a singular art class or a singular event. So if you're talking about something like taking them to a comic book convention and having them watch other artists draw, an artist visiting their school, or if you get the opportunity to have an artist speak to them, even if that's an art teacher, that stuff's all really great because it's a single event that can be life-changing. You can get great advice. You can see a part of art that you would never otherwise get to see in normal life. That's awesome. Classes in school are different. And what classes in school are trying to give a child is not what a child needs to become a successful artist. What adults need to be successful artists are skills. What a child needs are the things that allow them to learn those skills. So let's just break down what those things are. They need enthusiasm. They need imagination. They need the ability to focus. And they need very strong opinions about art. And let's look at how kids really develop those things and really classes don't give that to you. Classes give you lessons on how to draw, how to paint. This is how you draw a head and blah, blah, blah. This is perspective. These are things that children don't need at all. They're going to learn those things in either high school or college or working on their own if they're really passionate about it once they're of age. But getting to the point where they actually are ready to learn those things, that's a different story. So first of all, enthusiasm. So the big thing about enthusiasm is every artist I know loves to draw or paint or do whatever they do, but they have different relationships with working in practice. And as we get older, these are things that we all must do. But when we're younger and we're not developed yet and we're still maturing, practice and work can be about effort. It can be about being told what to do. And those things can, if they get associated with art, that could be a negative association. Art for the kid could be a release from going to school and being told what to do, being given chores or whatever lessons they're learning that are really important for them. In their mind, at this point in life, there's no association between drawing or painting or whatever and being told what to do. And that's good because they get to decide on their own terms. I really want to keep doing this. This is fun for me. This is a release for me. And that feeling of fun is what they'll need to hold on to as the going gets tough when they realize this is something they want to take seriously. But taking it seriously prematurely can distort our vision of what art means to us. And finding out what art means to you is probably the most important thing that a kid can develop. That's the thing that a teacher can never give them. They have to get, and a parent can't give it to them. The kid just has to be in an environment where it's easy for them to get it on their own. Another thing they need that we talked about is focus. So focus, similar to the hardworking process, you develop this over time. Some kids have a lot of focus right away. They can just sit down forever and draw, paint, sculpt. They just love it so much, they can just do it all the time. Every kid's not like that though. Some kids can only do it for 15 minutes. And that's enough for them. But then that 15-minute drawing turns into 20 15-minute drawings. And then now that they've invested into it, they say, I want to be better at this. I see something wrong with my drawing. My friend's drawing look cooler and I want my drawing to look that cool. So I'm going to work harder on it. And then they spend a half hour and then 20 more half-hour drawings. And then, a year passes, a summer passes, and now they spend an hour. And this kind of thing happens naturally over time and they build up their own focus through their own motivations that link up and tie in with their personality. So I think it's important for a child to be able to do this at their own pace, just be encouraged along the way as they're doing it. And that will develop on its own if this is something that the child wants to do. If you have to force a child to draw, they probably aren't cut out for drawing. And that's okay. They can, not professionally. And if they're going to draw for fun, why bother them with a class anyway if it's not something that they're ever going to seriously do? You're thinking, I want to support them doing this seriously. But I think at that age, they decide the seriousness. And that will go up over time no matter what, if that's what they really like. The other thing is imagination. The great thing about imagination is left to their own devices, children already have great imaginations. And I mean, everybody has a great imagination, but children use it all the time. They use it every time they play. They use it every time they close their eyes, have a toy, a video game, talk to their friends. They're always using their imaginations because they don't have jobs. So all we have to do as adults, not just parents, but all adults around children, is get out of the way. Make sure that they have time to play. That's when the imagination is active. And again, the ability to play, and this is coming from a professional. I've been a professional for over 20 years. The ability to play is much more important than any singular technical skill. And I think there are some really important technical skills out there, but none of them is as important as the ability to tap into your imagination and just run fantasies in your head and create the images in the first place. The technical ability is translating those images. So putting a child in a class, the thing that's dangerous is when you're told you're doing something wrong, the play muscle shuts off, right? The little mechanism in your brain that says, oh, I'm having fun, I can do anything. Well, now the teacher has told you literally, well, you can do anything, but don't do it like that. And while that might make the individual drawing better, overall, it doesn't improve the child's ability to create, because artists aren't just people who execute art, they're creators. And so with the creativity, I think we want to get out of the way as much as possible, encourage as much as possible, facilitate as much as possible, but not put any rails on it, not put any limitations on it too early in the development. And then the last thing, and this is a little controversial, is the child needs very strong opinions, and they will be so wrong about so many of their ideas about art. But that's great, because sometimes going down the wrong path still gets you to the right destination. And kids and even young adults don't know enough about art, about the industry, to have an educated opinion on not what they like and what they don't like. Everybody knows what they like and what they don't like, but how what they like and what they don't like fits into the world they want to enter into. One great example that is super common, people who want to draw will come to me and say, can you teach me how to draw? But the main thing is, I only want to draw anime. I don't want to draw realistic stuff. All I care about is drawing anime. Can you just teach me that? And the answer is, that's ridiculous. If you know anything about anime production, and I have friends who literally do anime production, they rely very, very heavily on real life reference. There are stacks of books just with anime poses. Once they're 17, 18, it's important for them to find someone like me who says, hey, you're going to have to draw real people in order to get really great in anime. It's much more difficult to try to get great at drawing anime, never drawing a human being. But when they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that is not important for them to hear. All they need to do is watch a ton of anime, have friends who like anime, draw a lot of anime, and just enjoy it so much that by the time they do get to someone like me, that's not discouraging, because now they've absorbed so much anime that they really love. And this is just an example. It can be anything. But they've absorbed so much of this style that they really love. And now their desire to get there is bigger than the ego that keeps them wrong-headed about how these things work. So, whether or not a child has training, this process of getting focused, getting disciplined, it's mostly going to be self-taught anyway. The thing that you get out of an art class is the child will, not an art class, but an art curriculum, is that the child will get these skills, but they don't need those skills. They need the other things. And the other things are put in danger when you put structure in too quickly. As artists across the board, every artist I know, it's important to be able to think and imagine without structure, without all of the rules and principles and even fundamentals that you've learned. What we do sometimes is we let our minds play, and then we put the fundamentals back into that stuff and we give it structure from the training. But if we can't imagine in the first place, if we don't have that enthusiasm, that play set that was built up when we were never told what to do, when we were just allowed to do whatever we wanted for years and years on end until we got towards that teenager, preteen area, then that muscle won't be built up, and you'll have the danger. Obviously, some kids can be put in an art class and do very, very well, but I think it's much more common for kids to go, "Ooh, I really like to draw," and then get in an art class and say, this is boring, or they made me feel insecure, or I saw a kid in class who was way better than me. I'm not going to ever be that good. And a lot of negative things can come out of it that doesn't really help the kid. So long story short, a single art class, a single art seminar, a single meeting with one artist or professional, that stuff's all great. Encouragement is great. An environment, friends who draw, the things that, or paint, whatever, things that they're into, that stuff is all extremely helpful. But a specific art class, that can wait until at least they approach high school. And I'll leave you with this. There's a specific reason. Beyond everything I've told you, kids don't need skills until they need to prove those skills to get something. The first something might be getting into an art school, high school, that has a good art program. The one they almost certainly will want, especially if they want to go to college, is a portfolio that allows them to get into college. And then the one that they actually, those two things are both optional. The one that's not optional is to be able to create a portfolio that allows you to get professional work. High school makes you more prepared for college, and ideally, college makes you more prepared for the world of employment. So that's when you need the training. Because it only takes roughly 2 to 4 years to develop the skills to get you to those various levels, you don't need to give it to a child prematurely and endanger those skills and abilities that they actually need to have the stuff on the inside that allows them to take all of the challenges that come from the outside in the form of an art class. All right, so hopefully that was helpful for anyone who wanted to hear it. Thanks for stopping by. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. And I will just let the rest of this drawing video play out so that you can see how this turned out. This was just filler to have something on screen while we had that discussion. Thanks for listening, and good luck.